Hey everybody, it's Qqcknd, and I thought on this creepy Philadelphia night, I thought this would be a great time for us to talk about personal safety, and keeping yourself alive in this scary world. As some of you may know, I'm going to New York City tomorrow, and of course, I got an hour lecture from the girls in my class all about personal safety, and it really turned into something like emotional and important for us because if you've ever experienced that, I feel like people come together and they just want you to be safe. I can't tell you how many times I'm in class and if one of us is leaving early, someone will always say like, text me when you get home. It is sometimes a little daunting because you're like, yeah, nothing's gonna happen, but I just wanted to go over some tips about what to avoid and how to protect yourself from this world. And I took some notes and I'm really excited. So I got a lot of this information from Tumblr and the internet and like different zines on like feminism and protecting yourself, but some of these things and experiences come from my life or the girls in my class, so I'm happy to share it with you guys. So right away I want to talk about when you're at a party, and I think you should always go to a party with friends. People should know that you are there and people should know if you're leaving. And honestly, I always say, leave with the people that you came to the party with. Or if you're at a bar, always watch your drink. Pour your own drink and keep your drink with you from beginning to end. At first, I thought this was kind of a dated thing, something we learned about in high school, but it is absolutely still a thing. People will absolutely put anything in your drink to hinder your abilities and intoxicate you further than you're willing to be. As recently as just last year, one of John's friends who works as a bar back in Philadelphia did witness a guy put a roofie in a girl's drink, and he was even there to be an eyewitness, and that case did go to court, and John's friend really did go to court and plea against this guy. And honestly, all of us are so happy that he was there, but this happened a year ago. It's still absolutely present, and it's present in the city. It happens at bars, not just college parties, so please be careful out there and keep your hand over your drink. I don't know, be super cool and bring your own cup, anything like that. And I wanted to mention, while you're at a party, while you're out drinking at the bars, if you're gonna check into Foursquare, if you're gonna check in on Facebook, do it on your way out, or maybe do it on your way home. Even Instagram has recently updated their own feature, so if you wanted to geotag yourself, you could do it from the luxury of your home. People always tell you, like, if you're gonna go on vacation, like, keep that information to yourself. Do not make your Facebook status, your Instagram status, like, hey, we out here on vacation, unless you have someone who lives in your house. Because even Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I did that from this very room. So you do not have to be in the location anymore to check in at the location, which I think is a great safety feature. So watch out for yourself and don't let too many people know exactly where you are. Be mysterious. So if you are moving into a new house, I know a lot of us are around the same age group. We're moving out of our parents' house, we're moving into new houses, out of our dorms, and moving in with roommates. I always recommend changing your locks when you move into a new place. You never know who still has a house key and who can access your house. And honestly, I still have a house key for every house I've ever lived in. Not to say that I'm a creep, but I have a really weird time throwing keys in the trash. I think it's strange. I know I'm not the only person who's like that. I see people all the time who have these carabiners of 1,000 keys, and you never know who you might anger or attract along the way. So if you move into a new apartment, I really recommend getting the locks changed, maybe doing it on your own, a little DIY. You never know, you hear these crazy landlord stories all the time and these crazy ex-roommate stories all the time. I have the craziest ex-roommate story, and we had to change the locks there too. So I really recommend changing the locks and always keeping your front door locked. Even if you live in the suburbs, if you live in a rural area, or if you live in the city, keeping your door locked all the time. I have seen it with my own eyes, people who walk down the street and there are street level doors, and as they walk they just like quickly like check if the door is unlocked. And the first time I saw it, I couldn't believe it, but it's absolutely true. And if you get into a habit of keeping your door unlocked, people are going to notice. And another thing I always look out for is keeping your name off of the buzzer on your apartment. And I think I saw this first on American Psycho. I think he tries to get into an apartment building and he uses a name on the buzzer. Some horror movie along those lines, but keep your name off the buzzer. If you really want to prove a point, maybe put a fake name on your buzzer. And if someone ever calls up and they're like, "Is Julian here?" You could be like, "That's a murderer. That's a murderer at the door. There's no Julian here, you're a murderer." Don't ever open the door for somebody knocking. I mean, we've all seen A Clockwork Orange. I don't know, never let a stranger into your house. My old roommate let a homeless person into our house one time, and it was the scariest thing ever. You don't know how another person's gonna act if you don't know them and what they're gonna remember when they see the inside of your house. Never let a stranger in the house. I can't stress that more. Never let anyone know that you're home alone either. Turn the TV on, turn the radio on, turn all the lights on. No one should know that you're home alone. If you're ever walking around and you feel like you're coming across somebody who's a little shady, giving you really weird vibes, give them eye contact. Attackers, creeps, they want to be inconspicuous and they want to be out of sight and they want to be unknown. If you stare them right in the face, they're going to know that you remember them and that you have a good profile of them and you know exactly what they look like. And you are less likely to be targeted by this person. This also goes for keeping your head up and keeping yourself attentive, staying off your phone, not checking Instagram if you're in a place that you don't know where you are, just keeping your head up and keeping your headphones out of your ear. And a lot of people think like, "Oh, stay on the phone with me, I'm about to walk down this alleyway." You don't want that. Maybe keeping your phone down, but I know that there are a lot of apps out there now for personal safety. There's the one where you keep your thumb on your phone, and if you lift your thumb up, it calls the police, putting 911 on speed dial, or getting familiar with Siri and having Siri call 911 if there's an issue. Normally with Siri, you have to confirm your calls, but call 911, yes, I confirm. One sentence. Scream as loud as you can, freak out. If someone is coming up to you and they're like, "Give me your wallet, give me your purse," take your wallet and physically throw it as far as possible. If this person is just coming to you to steal your wallet, if you throw it, they'll scatter away and collect your wallet, blah, blah, blah. I mentioned in a previous video that I keep a decoy wallet in my bag at all times. This is a wallet that contains gift cards, Acme card, perk cards, my Ulta card. I have a wallet just of this. If someone's gonna come at me, I'm chucking that wallet. I don't care. Go get it, you creep. So throw your wallet. This will give you time to run away. This could distract your attacker and give you a chance to get out of there screaming and yelling as loud as you can. They say that about 30% of people are not affected by pepper spray. Maybe they come from generations of creeps who have grown an immunity to pepper spray. I don't know who these people are, but I like to keep a sound grenade with me. And I got this offline, and when I pull this tab out of this little robot guy, a really loud sound comes out, and anyone can hear it. You can put it to your attacker's ear, really mess them up, or, you know, if you're being chased by a pack of dogs, if there's a bear coming at you, sound grenade. What I like to do when I am so compelled is if someone is really in need and they say, "Please let me borrow your phone, my phone is dead, my phone is lost," you can say, "What number are you trying to dial? I'll dial it for you. Who are you calling? What would you like me to say?" If they're like, "It's personal, I want to say it, blah, blah, blah," no. You can tell them, "I'll deliver the message," or nothing. I did this one time and I swear I was like in my parents' neighborhood, suburban, super nice, and this girl like my age came up to me and she's like, "Please, like, my phone is dead and I need to let my mom know to pick me up." And I was like, "Okay, you're my age, your phone probably is dead, but I'll dial your mom's number and I'll speak to your mom. What's your name? I'll tell her that you're ready to be picked up. but I spoke to that girl's mom and turned out to be true. She did need to pick up her daughter, but at the same time, you don't know who you're gonna run into, and sometimes even women can be predators as well, so please keep yourself awake and, you know, don't be so naive, and unfortunately keep yourself very aware and on your toes. So if you are a bike commuter like me, or you walk a lot, I think that that's great, but I always recommend changing up the way you walk and the path that you walk. And this advice comes straight from my mother's mouth and into your ears. She would tell me all the time, because I used to walk to school. From middle school through high school graduation, I walked to school. And she would say, change up the way you walk because people are watching you. And I used to think, like, you're a crazy person, no one's watching me. But it's absolutely true. Mentioning my sexual harassment video, when I was flashed on the subway, when a detective contacted me, the first thing they said was, do you ride the same train car every day? Do you wait on the same spot on the platform every day? Do you sit in the same seat every day? And sometimes we get caught in these monotonous things where we do walk the same way at the same time every single day. And like my mother said, people notice. And we don't know who these people are, and yeah, we wish they didn't exist, but they absolutely do. Even Aziz Ansari, in his recent stand-up comedy tour, I know he came to Philadelphia, and he said something along those lines too, like a girl told him that she was followed, and it happens every day, and sometimes we do not notice. And I recently read an article where there was a woman, and she was getting off of the subway, and another woman pulled her aside and said, just wait here with me. This man has been following you, and I noticed. Now, we can hope together as a society we'll look out for each other, but most of all, you have to look out for yourself and maybe your best friends who are with you or whoever, and spread this message far and wide. But if you walk home, or you walk the same route, or every Saturday you walk to the laundromat, you have to change up your route. And what I really recommend on your walk home is to take notice of, like, maybe a coffee shop, maybe a McDonald's, or like a little craft shop you've seen along the way. Treat yourself, visit these places. Make yourself known to these places and consider them safe spots on your walk. Go to a coffee shop every once in a while, maybe pick up a treat, a cookie every 6th day or something. Well, you know, change it up. And make yourself recognizable in these places. Consider them safe spots on your walk, and if you ever feel like you're being followed, you know, walk in that little boutique that you've always had your eye on, walk into the coffee shop, and these can be your safe havens for your walk home or your bike ride home. And I just completely encourage this, and why not? Why not stop at Old Navy on your way home? If you are not a bike commuter or a pedestrian, then I do have a lot of tips for you as well. And my number one tip, and this is what really scares me and always stuck with me, and it's when you park, notice the people around you. Notice the cars around you, how the cars are parked. And I'm not saying take notes or take like a panoramic photo, but look left and right. If you're in a parking garage, if you work in an office, if you work at the mall, if you're out late night, when you're walking up to your car, maybe lean back a little bit. Look underneath it. See if there's anything weird. See if anything is out of place. See if there's any weird cars parked next to yours that may have not been there before. If there is ever a van parked next to your car, get in on the opposite side. If there's a van on your driver's side, get in the passenger side. Walk very far around. You don't know who's waiting at that van door to grab you and pull you in. Sometimes these aren't big, scary white vans. They can be vans, normal vans. They could have the baby on board sticker. You'd never know. If you're in a shopping center, it's like, oh, there's a Toys R Us here. That makes sense. But it's 9 o'clock. And when you get into your car, lock the doors and go. A lot of attacks happen to women and people who get into their car and kind of dawdle around, check their phone, look at what they bought at the store, have a cigarette. Lock your doors and go. People know how common it is for you to get into your car and relax after a long day, after shopping, checking your voicemail. Whatever it is can wait. Get out of there. And if you're ever walking to the parking garage, do not take the stairwell alone. People can be waiting in there. You ever take the stairs and you notice the staircase keeps going to the bottom? Who could be down there? I think that every time. Take the elevator, and I recommend standing as close to the elevator doors as possible. If someone gets in who's kind of creepy, get out. You're not going to offend anybody if you are being kidnapped. So just get out of the elevator, wait for the next one. If you ever come out to your car and notice that you have a flat tire, go back inside where you came from, call AAA, call insurance, call one of your loved ones to come assist you. If you notice that you have a flat tire and someone immediately approaches you, leave. This person may have flattened your tire on purpose and they're out to harm you. They may be offering you help, taking you to a second location, and then clobbering you over the head. Ask security directly from the security kiosk. Don't walk around the mall or a place where you're at and flag somebody down. This could just be somebody who is an opportunist in a costume. And this also goes for police officers too. Always double check who's pulling you over. If it's an official police car, if it's an unmarked car with a light, never ever pull over. I have AAA and it's worth its weight in gold. I pay like $50 a year for AAA and I know I can always call them. So if you travel like me, I have a couple travel tips for you. And the first one, and this again comes straight from my mother's mouth, don't look like a tourist. Unless you're with a group of people, don't gawk at anything, don't look up at the tall buildings, and do not hold a map. If you are lost and need directions and you have a smartphone, I really recommend dipping into a coffee shop, maybe speaking to a barista, or checking out your map and jotting down little directions on a piece of paper, a small piece of paper, or maybe the notes on your phone. Before I had a smartphone, I felt like I was such an unsafe traveler. And now, as a person with a smartphone, you can put on your GPS and do walking directions. And again, if you are traveling, do all your sightseeing during the day, be smart and completely knowledgeable of everything that you're doing. Me going to New York, I feel like I'll have a pretty safe time glancing at my walking GPS, walking around, but still being completely aware of my surroundings. No headphones and no weird touristy looking like I do not belong here kind of situation. If you need to stop and ask somebody for directions, do not let them take you anywhere. If you stop and ask somebody for directions or someone approaches you asking if you need directions, ask for the directions step by step, thank them, and if they offer to take you, do not go with them. This is a trigger for somebody, especially in a place like Times Square, New York City, downtown LA. These are places where people often come to visit, and it is not hard for a predator to come and look for someone who may seem lost or curious and say, hey, I can take you, because obviously you don't know where you're going and you do not want to go to a second location with somebody. This could be a man, this could be a woman, this could be a teenage girl. You do not want to go to a second location. And my last little bit of advice, and sometimes this goes completely overlooked, but do not say your address out loud anywhere. Don't give your address out to strangers on the internet. Don't say your address out loud at the pharmacy, on the phone. You never know who's listening. I remember, this is what I do. Whenever I go to the pharmacy and they ask you to confirm your address, I give them my ID. It has my photo, it has my address, and I don't have to say anything out loud. If they out loud say, so your address is, you immediately stop them and say, please do not say my address out loud. There could be someone standing right next to you who thought like, hey, they were pretty cute when they walked in and I would love to eat their organs. Let me listen to their address. I had to do this recently. I was getting all of this junk mail from Capital One. Just all these letters from Capital One. Almost 3 times a week. So I called Capital One and I was like, I don't even have a credit card. You have to stop. And they were like, can you please confirm your address so we can stop? And I said, no, I can't say my address out loud. I'm outside in a busy street and I cannot reveal that personal information. You got it somehow. Get rid of it. But, you know, if I'm on the train and I'm like, oh, I live at blah, 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 by myself. I have an iMac, you know, people are like, and that goes for if you're traveling, checking in at a hotel, if someone wants to confirm your first and last name or they want to confirm your hotel room and they say it out loud and the guy behind you hears, do not be afraid to be like, excuse me, you said my hotel room, my hotel number out loud. I want to remain anonymous. This jeopardizes my feeling of safety. Please reassign my room. This is absolutely okay, and they will listen to you and they will reassign your room and they will apologize. Maybe they might talk smack, but personal safety has to be in the front of your mind all of the time and it cannot go overlooked, not for feeling sensitive, like, oh, he bought me that drink, I don't want to turn it down. Turn it down. So these are some of the personal safety tips that I know and love and I try to keep in mind all the time. Let me know what kind of tips you have, what keeps you safe, what keeps you alive, and if this video helped you at all, give this video a thumbs up and honestly share this with your best friend, share this with your mother, your father, your cousins, and keep your friends safe, keep your loved ones safe, and keep the people around you safe as well. I love you guys. Please, please stay safe out there, and thank you so much. I'll let you know how my trip to New York goes. Obviously, I'm meeting friends there, friends I know and love, and thanks again. I love you guys so much, and bye.